Hi guys, if you are looking to start a Teachers Pay Teachers store in 2022, then you are in the right place. In this video, we're talking about the 5 plus an optional one steps that you need to take if you want to start a TPT shop. Now, obviously that's only 5, that's not a ton. So it is very, very whittled down. I tried to make it like the most important things that you need to know so that you don't get bogged down on all of the extra things, because it is a lot, but it is doable. So we're gonna talk about the most important things that you need to do in your TPT shop. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Becca. I'm an elementary music teacher turned TPT author turned helper of those who would like to do Teachers Pay Teachers. So on this channel, we talk all TPT all the time. I have tons and tons of videos about everything from new TPT things to how to make things to how to do thumbnails to all of the different stuff. So if you're new, definitely take a look through my channel and hit that subscribe button if you're interested in the TPT shop. But without further ado, let's get started on the video. So as far as the most important things you need to do to start your Teachers Pay Teachers store in 2022, number 1 is gonna be to decide on product ideas. Before you have anything else, before you have a business, you have to know what you want to sell. So you need to know what products you are going to create. Now, where I would start is things that you have made for your classroom, things that you wish that you had for your classroom. If you're no longer in the classroom, then think about like, what would have been really helpful? What do you wish that you had back then? Or even go and ask other teachers, or do all 3. Write down all the things that you've created, or write down all the things that you would like to have or could have had in the classroom in the past, and then go and talk to teachers and ask them what they need and what their problems are and what their struggles are. Chances are, even if you're not a teacher currently, you know some teachers because there's teachers everywhere. So those are 3 ways to get some ideas. Once you have your product ideas down, I then want you to look at those product ideas and come up with at least 1 or 2 other ideas that are similar. So like if you have a set of like bell ringer activities for math class, think like, what is something else you can do? Like, can you do different bell ringers? Can you do bell ringers for different, you know, like subject? Can you do like maybe closing activities, so it's like the beginning and the end? Can you make like holiday themed ones? Like, what can you do that's similar to that one product? If you have many products that are similar, it's going to make your store much more cohesive, and it's also going to make them easier to create because you're already kind of like on that same wavelength. You can use them as templates, and it does help a lot with productivity and getting things done quickly. So the first thing you want to do is come up with all the different product ideas, and that will tell you kind of like what you're interested in. You can see kind of which products you have the most ideas for, which subjects you have the most ideas for, and that's going to be the best way to figure out, you know, like what your store is going to be about, because you can see what you already have the ideas for. Plus, you'll probably have way more ideas than you think that you do. And if you need product ideas, then you can check out the link down below where I talk all about how to come up with product ideas. All right, and then step number 2 is a pretty obvious one. You need to make your first product, actually probably your first 2 products. So your first product on Teachers Pay Teachers has to be a free resource. That is something I wish someone had told me when I got started, because I did not know that, and then I was very irritated when it wouldn't let me price my first product, but it's all good now. So no, your first product has to be free. So you might want to make 2 products to start out with, a free one and then a paid one. There's not like a certain number of products that you need in order to open a TPT store. You can open it with just that 1 free resource. That's fine. Just getting started is kind of the biggest thing. So look through your list, think about which product seems the most interesting to you, which one makes you the most excited, and start with that one. If you're excited to do that, then you'll want to do that, and you'll want to put in the effort and figure out how to do everything, and so it's going to be a much more enjoyable experience. So just pick whatever you're most excited for and get to it. If you need help with actually like how to make your resources, I do have tutorials for both online resources and worksheets and all sorts of stuff, so I will link those down below. Number 3, this is gonna sound very general, but you need to set up your shop. So you actually need to go and like create your shop on Teachers Pay Teachers. Along with that, you're gonna need to come up with things like, what's your store name gonna be? What is your logo gonna look like? And all of those things. Even though this may not seem like the most important thing, I definitely did not think it was the most important thing when I started, and it showed. It is actually pretty important because you want your shop to be pretty, you want it to be cohesive, you want it to be inviting so people want to purchase your resources. If your store doesn't look very nice, then people are not going to want to buy. So think about like what colors you might want to pick, and really think about like the vibe you're going for. So if you're going for like a, you know, really trendy kind of modern classroom, you're gonna have a very different aesthetic than if you're going for like cool and calm, or if you're going for like bright and cheerful and excited. None of those are bad or wrong. They're just gonna be very different feels. So my suggestion would be to really think about like kind of the aesthetic, the person you're going for, like what kind of teacher are you wanting to sell to, and then maybe scroll through Pinterest and look up some different color ideas, different color palettes, see what kind of like catches your eye, maybe look at different logos and see what catches your eye and go from there. You can create your logo for free on canva.com. It is a free resource. It is wonderful. I use it all of the time. I've used it every single week in my business for the last like 4 years. It's a great thing. Definitely highly recommend Canva, so check that one out. All you have to do is like click the plus and then logo, and they have tons of different symbols that you can use and pictures, and they have all sorts of different fonts and colors and all of the things. So check out Canva, use that to design your logo, and that's gonna help you a lot. But just really think of like what colors and fonts and things you're gonna use. And I say this again, it seems like not important, but I say it because I did not pay attention to it. And I have regretted it so much, and I have had to go and like redo things so many times because my first things are ugly and I don't like them, and no one wants to buy them because they're not pretty and they're not appealing. And so it's, even though it's not like the end of the world, do put some time and effort into that, you know, even if it's just an hour, think about it, make sure you like it before you get started. All right, number 4 is you want to post whatever products you have. So if you have one product, go ahead and post it. If you got 2 products, go ahead and post it. Now, this is one of your most important steps. It's really one of your most important steps. That is because your product listing is very, very important. You want to make sure that your listing page, your sales page, really convinces people that they need to purchase your resource. So you don't want your sales page to be like, here are some worksheets, because no one wants to buy that. You want to really convince people that they need to purchase. And the way you do that is by giving them lots of details about what your product is about, who it's for, what is inside, and all of those good things. A good like rule of thumb is I typically will do in my description a paragraph talking about it, and then also bullet points with like the quick facts of it, so that people know how many pages they're getting, what grade level it should be for, what standards it's covering, all of those really important things. Along with that, make sure that your thumbnails are really good. So when you post a new product, you'll have a couple of different areas. There will be a cover and then 3 thumbnails. Your cover is what people see when they're scrolling through, and you'll want to create that so that it's nice and appealing and it shows off your resource and tells what your resource is. So what I would suggest is make sure you have the name of your product or what it covers in big, easy to read, bold text. And then also have some sort of a picture of your product. Ideally, print out your product, color it in, fill it in with markers so that you can see the colors jump off the page, and use those pictures on your thumbnail. That is like the #1 best thing you can possibly do, and it's so worth it. I promise. It's a lot of extra work, but it's so worth it. I've seen so many more people purchase on things where I have those actual pictures of my product. But at the very least, use screenshots of your product so that people can see what it is, and make sure they can see it. If they cannot see it, they will not buy it because they won't know what it is. Also, make sure that this thumbnail is like nice and clean looking. You don't want tons of stuff, and you want it to be, again, visually appealing, because people buy things that are pretty, and if it's not pretty, they won't want to click on it even if it's an amazing resource. It's unfortunate, but it's also true. Then you'll have 3 thumbnails that go along with that. So these can be pictures of your products. They can be, sometimes I make them in Canva where I'll add like screenshots and then like some text and tell like what the product is, just different things. But make sure you use all of them, because you just want to use all of this stuff up. In addition to that, you can also do a preview. So that can be a PDF or it can be an image. I would suggest a PDF if you're gonna go this route. And I often will do similar things. Sometimes I'll upload some of the pages of the product with like a giant Becca's Music Room preview over top of it so people can't actually use the preview. Sometimes I give like 1 page away for free, and so that if they like that, they can come back for the rest. Sometimes I will do kind of the same thing with like screenshots or pictures, and then I'll add text and we'll talk more about the product and the details. It just kind of depends on what the product needs and how much explanation it needs is really the biggest thing. Along with that, you can also upload a video preview to all non-Google Drive resources. And so that is actually a really great way to convince more people to purchase. Video previews make a big difference. They're a little bit of extra work, but they're so good because people can see the product, you can talk about the product, you can show the product in action, and it's just so much easier for people to see it. And if they can see it and they understand it and believe it, then they will more likely want to purchase. So that's your whole goal, is to show people what your product is about so they'll want to do it. I know that sounds like a lot of stuff, but trust me, this is super important, because if your listing page is really good, it will convince people that they need to purchase your products. And so then you'll have a lot less work to do, because you're already convincing people just with what you already have that they need to buy the product. Make sure people know what the product is, who it's for, what the transformation is. So like, is it going to help your kids learn fractions? Is it gonna make centers so much easier? Is it gonna make things fun? I have a product I'm thinking of specifically where I intentionally made sure it was as easy as possible for the teacher. And so I added like a bunch of videos and stuff. And so that was something I highlighted in my description. I was like, hey, everything's a video or a slide. Literally all you have to do is throw it on the screen and press play, because I'm a music teacher and this one is specifically for December, and December is typically one of the busiest times in the music room. So I really wanted to make it like as easy as possible for the teachers so that the kids can have a lot of fun, but it's not a ton of pressure and a lot of work and prep and stuff like that. Those kinds of things are great to highlight. You know, if it's like differentiated, make sure you highlight that. You know, all of those things are really great to add in there so that people, you know, just have another reason to go and purchase. But pay attention to this, and it'll, I promise, it'll make your life so much easier if you just really work on those listing pages. And step number 5 is to keep making products. In TPT land, typically you will not sell a lot at the very beginning. I know it feels, you know, you have all these stories about people like, oh, you know, you post things on the internet and like everybody buys. It takes some time. Like, this is a business, and businesses take time to like earn money, and it's gonna take some time to earn money. It will come, but it is gonna take some time. And the best way that you can accelerate that is to create high quality products, and quite a few of them. The faster you can fill up your shop with high quality products, the better your shop is going to do sooner, because there's going to be more products that people can purchase. More people will then find you because you'll have, you know, different activities. So some people will find you for this activity, some people will find you for this activity, but now you've got, you know, twice as many things working for you, twice as many people coming in, because you have twice as many products. So the general rule of thumb is to really work on like having a solid foundation of products, up to 50 products, before you start like going into all the other aspects of business. There's nothing magical about 50, like 49 is probably fine, 51 is great. But once you get in that range, people tend to see their sales speed up, as long as, again, their products are high quality and they are convincing people to purchase with those listing pages. By high quality, I mean, you know, it's a good product, people can use it, it's very, you know, timely, it's easy to use. So maybe including like guides. It's not something where the teachers are looking at like, I don't know how to do this. If anything's confusing, make sure you have like a page with instructions on it. And it just doesn't have issues, you know? It's something you can use. The best thing to do is, if you're in the classroom, use it with your kids and then post it so that you've worked out all the kinks, because sometimes they'll come up with things that you never would have thought would be an issue. Like one time I was using a font where I was doing like a line, and I used an underscore for the line for the answer, right? And the font I was using had like this little teeny tiny space in between the underscores. So it would be like underscore teeny tiny space, underscore teeny tiny space. And the kids were so confused because they thought they were supposed to write something in each of the little teeny tiny lines, but I just meant it to be like one line. And so because I use that with my kiddos, I was able to fix that, and then it wasn't an issue when we got to work. Or I noticed things like, oh, hey, there's a typo and stuff like that. I can notice before I ever go and post it on TPT, so that, you know, all those little kinks are all worked out. If kids have questions, I can answer them, and then I can add them to the product. So try it with your kiddos. If you don't have kiddos at home, maybe see if your teacher friend, if you have a teacher friend, can try it with their kiddos. And if not, then, you know, just work on it really hard, and then it will probably be fine. But if you can use it with actual kids, it's going to be the best bet. Now, number 6 is optional, and that is because it is start connecting with people on social media. I did it as optional because I do truly believe that the best thing you can do for your store is to really focus on product creation until you hit that 50 product mark. But some people, myself included, want to do other things like as they're growing their shop in order to, you know, kind of expand their reach and all of that. And that's a really great thing. The reason it's optional is because, again, it's most important to work on your products. And the other thing is, when you're new at TPT and new at social media, that can feel really stressful and like a lot to learn at the same time. So it might be better to get some products under your belt and then start, you know, with other things like social media or long form content and stuff like that. But if you're looking for something else that you can do in addition to your TPT store, that is a good place to start because it's pretty easy. You know, there is a lot that goes into it, but it's not like rocket science. You don't have to pay anything to start. You can just get started and you can start connecting with customers quickly. If you're going to do this, I would say pick one social media that you're interested in and come up with some like easy posting schedule, something you can commit to, you know, once a week, twice a week, whatever. And then really focus on like making connections. So go and message people that are in your niche. Go find other people who are similar teachers and follow them and reply to the comments on and like comment on their posts and do things like that. Not in a spammy, creepy way. Like, do not be, oh my gosh, I've gotten so many of these messages lately. Do not be the creepy person on Instagram sending random DMs to people you don't know about random things. Like, no one's gonna want to buy your things if you're just like, hey, I see you're a teacher, here's a product. No. But going to someone's page and commenting on their posts and adding value is a really great way to start a conversation and to maybe get them to come follow you as well. So that's a great way to connect on social media. And so that's one thing you can do while you're building your products if you want to, but you do not have to. It's an optional one if you want to, you know. I'm an overachiever, so I figure there's probably at least one other overachiever over here, and that's something for my overachiever people who want to just get started. All right, friends, now I have a couple of little reminders, tips, things like that. The first one I already mentioned, but success is not gonna come overnight. It feels like it should on the internet. I do the same thing, like even now, years into my business, I'll post a new product and then 5 minutes later, I'm like checking TPT and I'm like, did anybody buy it? No, it's only been posted for 5 minutes. Like, that's not a thing. So really, it's hard, but no, like it's probably not gonna happen overnight. Don't stress really hard if it's slow at the beginning because it's going to be slow at the beginning. And again, the best way that you can combat that is to get the ball rolling yourself by adding more resources to your store. But do not stress. I've gotten a lot of messages lately from people who are like, I just started and I'm only making this much money, and I'm like, it's okay, like that's fine and that's normal, don't stress. Which leads me to number 2, and that is the best way to make more money in your TPT shop is to add more products. TPT is a search engine, which means that people go to Teachers Pay Teachers to look for things. So having more products means you have more chances to be found in search. Again, it adds more people. So if some people use this product, some people use this product, then they'll find that they like them both. It also adds more credibility to your store. If someone comes to your store and there's like 2 products in there, then they might be a little bit like, ooh, why are there only 2 products? Maybe they don't know what they're doing. But if they come to your store and they're like, oh, hey, there's 20 products, then they feel a little more confident. It'd be like if you went to a store and there was like nothing on the shelves, it would be a little bit weird. So just having some things in there shows that you're here for the long haul. Hopefully you know what you're doing. You probably don't, but that's okay, you will. Which is the other point, is that as you make more products, you'll get better and better at making products, and it'll be easier, and then you'll like know more and they will be better. So all of those things to say, make more products is the best way to make more money in your TPT store. And the last thing I want to mention is something really random and specific, but there is an option on TPT for people to follow you. Don't stress about it too much. People will ask like, how do you gain more followers and things, but to be honest, there's not a huge benefit to having lots of followers on TPT. I didn't notice any difference between having 1 follower and like 500 followers. Once I got up, I think like once I got to 1,000, that's when I started to notice like, oh, hey, I actually like noticed a little bit of a difference. But other than that, like it really didn't make a big difference. You can do like a note to your follower, but I mean, I never check them. I don't think most people do. It's not the greatest way to communicate with people. It does show up that you have a new product when they open up TPT, but again, like there's not a lot of great ways to get more followers, and honestly, it just doesn't make a huge difference. So if you're worried about followers, you want to build an audience, I would suggest that you do that on a social media instead and don't stress about the followers on TPT. So couple of things for my newbie TPT sellers out there, and that's all I've got for you for today. Now I could go on and on and on and on and on, and I have done that. I have more than one course about TPT, which I will link down below, but you do not have to purchase if you don't want to. So I have gone on and on and on about all the things you need to know about your TPT shop, but those are like boiling it down to like the most important, how to get started right now. That's what you got. The most important thing to remember is that the best thing to do is just to start and just to keep going and just to go for it. You know, you're never going to be successful if you don't start. So start today, get started, and also hit that subscribe button. Now, if you do want a little bit more help, I do have a whole checklist about getting started where you can check off like, yes, I made my logo. Yes, I did this. And it has more details. So I will link that down below if you are interested in that. It's free. And so if you want to get that, you can get that. And if not, you can go check out all the other videos on my channel. And I will see you in the next video that you watch. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.